Hi friends, this is Kevin from Indonesia. I will tell you how math can reduce global warming. Global warming is a condition when the average temperature on Earth rises. In simple ways, the Earth is sick. Carbon dioxide and methane trap heat from the sun. It reflects it back. This is called the greenhouse effect. It is same as when a greenhouse lets light pass through and traps it inside. I also want to tell you what is the causes of global warming. Deforestation, using gasoline transportation, and turning on TV or other electrical appliances when it's not used are some of the causes of global warming. Now, I will tell you how we can reduce global warming. Planting trees, turning off the TV or other electrical appliances when it is not used, biking or walking to near places, or using electric vehicles are some ways to reduce global warming. Now this is where the math comes in. The gasoline or electricity consumption ratio is equal to gasoline in liters or electricity in kilowatt hour divided by the distance. That is called rate. Rate is a quantity per another units of quantity. When the gasoline or electricity use increase while the distance is constant, the ratio will increase and vice versa. When the distance increases while the gasoline or electricity use is constant, the ratio will decrease and vice versa. Based on the PLN data in 2023, 1 liter of gasoline can travel up to 10 kilometers and that will produce 2.4 kilograms of carbon dioxide. And 1 kilowatt hour can use to travel up to 7 kilometers and that will produce 1.02 kilograms of carbon dioxide. So, what is the consumption ratio of gasoline cars versus the consumption ratio of electric cars? Let's calculate together. Let's count the gasoline ratio first. Based on the data before, 1 liter of gasoline can be used to travel 10 kilometers. So we will divide 1 liter by 10 kilometers and that will give us 0.1 liters per kilometer. That means for each kilometer, we will use 0.1 liters of gasoline. Now let's calculate the electricity ratio. Based on the previous data, we can use 1 kilowatt hour to travel up to 7 kilometers. Now we will divide 1 kilowatt hour by 7 kilometers. Then we will get 0.14 kilowatt hour per kilometer. That means for each kilometer, we will use 0.14 kilowatt hour. After we calculate both ratios, we will get the consumption ratio of gasoline cars is 0.1 liters per kilometer. And the consumption ratios for electric cars is 0.14 kilowatt hours per kilometers. So that means if we use electric cars, the consumption ratio will increase by 40% than using gasoline cars. So that means using gasoline cars is better because it took less consumption ratio. I don't think so. Let's calculate further. So, how do we count the total cost? The total cost is equal to consumption in liters or kilowatt hours times price. So now, let's calculate the total cost of the gasoline car and the electric car. Based on the previous data, we know that the consumption ratio for gasoline cars is 0.1 liters per kilometer. And for electric cars, it's 0.14 kilowatt hours per kilometer. Then we multiply it by the average annual mileage in Jakarta. That is 13,600 kilometers. Then we will get the total consumption for gasoline cars is 1,360 liters, and the total consumption for electric cars is 1,904 kilowatt hour. Then we will multiply it by the price of the gasoline and the electricity. Then we will get the total cost spent for gasoline cars is 16,456,000 rupiahs. And for electric cars, the total cost spent is 3,234,896 rupiahs. So in total, we save 13,221,104 rupiahs, or 80% of the money if we use electric cars than gasoline cars. Let's count the emission of each cars in grams per kilometer. The formula is emission in grams per kilometer is equal to the carbon dioxide in grams resulted by each car divided by the distance in kilometers. Well, let's calculate the emission of the gasoline car. We know that the gasoline car creates 2.4 kilograms of carbon dioxide, and that is same as 2,400 grams of carbon dioxide. That can be used for traveling 10 kilometers, so we will divide it by 10, and then we will get 240 grams per kilometer of carbon dioxide. And that means for each kilometer, the gasoline car will create 240 grams of carbon dioxide. So let's calculate the emission of the electric car. We know that the electric cars create 1.02 kilograms of carbon dioxide, and that is same as 1,020 grams of carbon dioxide, and that can be used to travel 7 kilometers. So we will divide it by 7, and the result is 145 grams per kilometers of carbon dioxide. That means for each kilometer, the electric cars create 145 grams of carbon dioxide. Now we know that the emission for the gasoline cars is 240 grams per kilometer of carbon dioxide, and for the electric cars, we get 145 grams per kilometer of carbon dioxide. That means if we use the electric cars, the amount of carbon dioxide will decrease by 40% than using gasoline cars. So the yearly emission for the gasoline car is 3,264,000 grams of carbon dioxide and 1,972,000 grams of carbon dioxide for electric cars. Even though the consumption ratio, the total consumption is increasing by 40% when we use electric cars, but the price of electricity is much cheaper. So the total cost when we use electric cars is decreasing by 80%. The emission per kilometers and the total emission also decrease by 40% when we use electric cars. So there's a lot of advantage if we use electric cars. We can save our money, and we can also reduce carbon dioxide for the health of our earth. So, do you want to go to the healthy earth or to the sick earth? Do you want to go to the clean environment or the dirty environment? Do you want to make every people healthy and happy, or every people sick? The choice is in our hands. So, let us together do some actions that can reduce global warming and can help the earth to be healthy. Yay!